Welcome to CEOs You Should Know. I'm Cristina Mendonsa, and joining me today is Amanda Blackwood, President and CEO of the Sacramento Metropolitan Chamber. First of all, tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to California.
So I was born and raised in Kansas, right? So I've been now here 25 years. So I knew I officially transferred to my Californian status when I went from pop to soda. So I've officially transitioned, but grew up in the Midwest, really entrepreneurial parents, right? Lots of small businesses. So they flipped houses, and my dad had a handyman business and all that good stuff. But the fun fact is, in Kansas, if you have a job, you can get your driver's license at 13. So I have worked, right, all of time. So all those things that I think every kid should do and that my kids will do is work in a restaurant and know what that is, right? Work in retail and know what that is. You have a completely different understanding of what people are going through, right, when you're on that side. So did that, moved out here. My dad got a job transfer and said, hey, do you want to finish out, college in Kansas, or do you want to move out to California? Let's move to California. Moved to Vacaville, which was basically Kansas, just with hills.
Right.
And then, been here 25 years since. So have always, had a job, worked in a restaurant, did whatever when I came here, but worked for the Rental Housing Association at 19.
Oh, okay.
So it was this interesting, what is a trade association and what do they do? And, why are they important? So that was an interesting start. Worked there for several years, then went to a job interview I was very excited about. It was this tech company in El Dorado Hills, and they were gonna they make the chips or the sponges that clean microchips that Intel buys. So I was 21. I go up to this big place in El Dorado Hills, and I'm so excited to work for this company. And the owner goes, "Oh no, I don't actually want to hire you for here. I have 3 kids, and all of my kids have small businesses. So you have experience in restaurant, you have experience in retail, and we do real estate development. So I just want you to handle it."
So that was like a little mini chamber.
It was amazing, right? And so all of that, I had gone to school for accounting and everything that I had learned at Rental Housing Association, and then years of, just working in restaurants, working in places, managing people and all that good stuff. So it was a really cool experience. But about 3 years in, I'm at the front desk and I'm doing all the bills, and his son was about my age, and, I'm making $15 an hour or whatever. And this kid's getting these commission checks, $10,000.
Right.
Well, what do you do? Oh, I do commercial real estate. Well, I want to learn that. If you do that, I want to do that. So I got my real estate license and then really started learning about that. So it was a great experience. Ended up working for another commercial developer, and then the market started to change, right? So we were doing, big Class A offices. We're doing not the Kohl's itself, but maybe like the retail strip that was next to it. And there were 4 of us girls, and we were all in our mid-20s. And he came to us and said, "Here's the deal. I'm never going to pay you any more than I'm paying you now, but I will make you a partner in these projects. So do you want to do that?" Yes. So all 4 of us kind of came together, did that, built that business up, sold all of it off. Market was changing. So this is when it was like foreclosures and REOs and all of that. And he said, "Hey girls, here's the deal. We sold everything off. I got $15 million. I'm going to give you 6 months. So if you come up with something, I'll invest in your idea. If not, you got 6 months. So figure out what you want to do with your lives." So we, what do we know how to do? We know how to do real estate development, but that's not a thing right now. We can do receiverships, but that's not a thing. And one of our brokers said, "Hey, my father-in-law is in distressed real estate, and they're making 18% returns, 20% returns. You should check it out." So we go to this little firm in Granite Bay. It was about a $3 million firm. And they said, "Yeah, we flip houses on the courthouse steps." So said, "Okay, well, we're not going to invest in you, but we'll partner with you." So all that experience to learn, how do you really build a business? And over 6 years, we flipped about 1,200 houses throughout the state, had an office Sacramento, Stanislaus, San Joaquin, Fresno, and then did the whole supply chain kind of soup to nuts. So bought the projects, did the construction, had a real estate company, sold all the projects, raised a bunch of investor money. And I was kind of the finance back of house person. So anyway, it was a really interesting experience on how do you scale a business, how do you do it consistently, how important your brand consistency is throughout the state. What does that mean? It built a software algorithm to evaluate, projects, and it was a really, really neat time to be 4 women, all in our 20s, some with babies, some having babies, I'm pregnant, doing all this stuff and building up to a $50 million business. And that was I will always be so grateful for that experience, because it was really one of those, like, figure it out, just figure it out. And we had mentors that said, we believe you're capable. Here's your runway, go get results.
So it sounds like, looking back and connecting the dots, as they say, this is the perfect job for you because you have experience in so many different industries. So what are you doing with the chamber now? Where do you want to take it?
So it's a great question. So for us, right, we're 22 cities, 6 counties. So we are the capital region. It's a regional chamber. So what we try to do is really this. I can't make people do business with you. I cannot make your business successful, but I certainly can give you all of the tools that you need to do that. So whether it's access to capital, or it's workforce, or it's politics, or it's the regulatory environment that you're working in, whatever tool you need to get from your idea, that passion, that enthusiasm for that thing that you want to do, be it small, be it large, we give you the tools to do that. So we do it really in 3 key ways. We bring people together, so it's all about connections and networking. And if there's anything that the last 2 years, I think, have taught us, is the need for human connection is core to our being. And yes, you can do things over Zoom, and yes, you can do things over Team, and it's very efficient, but this is a world of relationships, right? And things get done through relationships. So we bring people together in ways to do that. We provide direct technical assistance. So you just need help with the business plan. You don't know how, I've got a brick and mortar. I know about Etsy. I don't even know how to do that. How would I do that? Or help people have access to capital. So they're just trying to navigate, man, I got my business up to $2 million, but I really want to get to 10, and it's going to take an infusion of money to get me there. I don't even know where to go or how to do that.
Right.
So really that kind of institutional financing side, and the, and the SBA side. And then finally, right, it's that advocacy regulatory environment. California is not an easy place to run a business, right? Sacramento is not an easy place to run a business, but, we want to be that California option. And if you're going to be in this state because you've decided that, there's a lot I can't change for you, but I certainly can get you access to the things that you need locally to go from, idea to success to wild success.
I know in your job, you're helping businesses deal with a lot of financial issues that may come up, but you just did Cap to Cap, which is, I know you take a very prestigious delegation back to Washington, D.C. to meet with leaders, talk to them about those financial issues, but you have to talk to them about social issues too these days, right? Because we have homelessness and crime, and businesses are really concerned about them. So what did you talk about at Cap to Cap?
Well, it's a great question, and we just came back, right? So Cap to Cap, for those that don't know, is the largest delegation in the nation. I was actually just I was appointed to a U.S. Chamber Executive Board, and they were talking about it in the abstract, and then I realized, they're talking about us, right? So it is the largest delegation in the entire country that goes en masse to D.C. to advocate for resources and regulatory change. So what things are we asking for? I mean, despite all of the challenges we've had over the last 2 years, this infrastructure bill is generational investment. I mean, this is once in a lifetime type of investment in the region. So the things we're asking for are, not always the sexy stuff. It's wildfire, it's flood protection, it's housing, it's infrastructure, it's transportation, it's rail, it's the access to broadband. I mean, we've been carrying that issue for the last 15 years. But, when you experience pandemic, even being aware of not everybody has access to that, right? Telehealth isn't for everybody. Kids trying to navigate school at a kitchen table at home in South Sacramento may not have internet access, right? So those very, very practical things that people need. But as well, we survey our membership every year, and we ask the same questions. What are the things that are making it easier for you? What are the things that are making it harder for you?
So what are they telling you?
It has changed. So what we've seen in the last 2 years, public safety, homelessness has become number 1. And that is a sea change. I mean, it was, same 10 things, right? Generally, public safety, 8, 8 on the list, 7th on the list. It's workforce, it's access to capital. For the last 2 years, consistently, homelessness and public safety and how those are combined has been the number 1 issue for City of Sacramento, number 1 issue for County of Sacramento.
As CEO of the Chamber, how can you help?
So, right, it starts with creating space to get that information so that we know. And we always take the position with our elected officials as an educator first. So maybe you didn't know that this is how your constituents are feeling. So we do polling, we do things like that, right? We work with our electeds to say, here's how folks are feeling, and here's some things that you can do on the short end, such as, right, we have no camping ordinances in the city and the county of Sacramento. They've just chosen not to enforce them. So you don't need a new law. You don't need a new rule. You just need to enforce what you have. At the same time, you really have to be mindful of addiction and mental health, and that is a challenge. So even if we had a magic wand and we had 10,000 housing units and everybody, was safe and in a place, you still have to deal with the addiction issues that we have, and you still have to deal with the mental health issues. So we advocate for those dollars. We advocate for the choices that they need to be able to do that. Right now, working very closely with the county of Sacramento in this June budget. And a lot of people don't know, what does the city do? What does the county do? What does the state do? They just know, I want it fixed. So have the conversation with who you need to have it with. So right now, we're really focusing on City of Sacramento, County of Sacramento to get people to do the things they need to do, and fighting arm in arm with the state to get the funding that we need to do that.
Last question. I want to talk to you about your leadership style and mentoring. Do you have time to mentor, and what is your leadership style?
I grew up in such a way that was, if you think you can do a thing, like, give it a go, right? Just give it a go. And a mentor told me once, never be afraid to lose what you don't have now. There is no loss. You don't have it. You're not the CEO right now. You don't have 50 employees. You're not. So try, because you could. One of those outcomes could be different than where you are now. So I think I've really always tried to embody, if somebody can do a thing, I can do a thing, right? And if that shows people, just go for it. Just, what do you have to lose, right? What do you have to lose? And if the last 2 years taught us anything, you only get one go round. So don't wait for permission for anybody to unlock your potential, because people don't want to give it, right? You don't need it. You don't need the affirmation of somebody else to tell you you're ready to take on all of those challenges. You are ready. You already have everything that you need. And you're gonna go for it. And some of them are gonna be wins, and some of them are gonna be L's, but you're gonna learn from it, and you're gonna learn from it and keep going. So from a leadership style perspective, I just want everybody to know there's a place for you, whatever that is, right? Your individual nature is beautiful and incredible, and don't let anybody tell you what that path is for you. Find what makes you happy, find what makes you passionate, and lean all the way into that. Because if we're searching for the approval of others, what are we doing, right? You know how you feel. You know where you are of service. So lean into your strengths. Enjoy that. Surround yourself with good people. I very much believe you become the 5 people you hang out with the most, because that is your normalized world. So if you want to reach for the brass ring and put yourself in that pool of people that are doing great things. If you want, you just want to chill, you want to be with your kids, that's okay too, right? There is no right way to live your life, as long as you feel like you're being authentic to yourself.
Amanda, thank you so much for being here. That's Amanda Blackwood, President and CEO of the Sacramento Metropolitan Chamber, on CEOs You Should Know.